Our attorney now told me we had not the slightest chance to win. I turned to my imagination, and this is what I did. The circumstances of life are the muffled utterances of the inner talking that made them visible. The foreman stood up and said, "We find the defendant not guilty." What's up, y'all? It's Evan. I'm back with another video. Y'all already know what we talking about because y'all see the title, y'all seen the thumbnail. Okay, let's get straight into it. First thing I want to say is that you are God, you are all that is, you are source. Everything in your reality is coming from you, whether you believe it or not. Okay, so the moment you accept an idea as true, it has to play out in your reality. The moment you begin to dwell on things and you begin to repeat thoughts and ideas that imply that you aren't where you want to be, or you are where you want to be, you are creating that in your reality for yourself. Okay, so before you go and blame somebody else, you blame a circumstance for what you're experiencing right now, remember, it's all coming from you. All is from you. Okay, first thing I want to read, though, email is linked down below, y'all. Just want to let y'all know that. And first thing I'm going to read is a quote by Neville Goddard. He said, "The circumstances of life are the muffled utterances of the inner talking that made them. The word made visible." That's what circumstances are. Okay, this plays directly into the real reason circumstances don't matter, because if you believe they matter, and you're saying, hold on, all of this stuff is going on, why is this happening, but I'm affirming this and I'm visualizing that, but that's happening. The fact that you're focused over there is the reason why it's still manifested, because your awareness is creating your reality. You don't realize that, though. You look at them and you say, hey, I'm accepting this as my reality. Why is this happening to me? And the way you accept it is by repeating it, is by bringing it up to the front of your mind, is by deciding, hey, this is my reality. The moment you looked at it and said, why am I experiencing this? Why can't you go within and say, why am I experiencing the best thing ever? Why is the best possible thing happening to me right now? But no, instead we're focusing on the outer circumstances. And like Neville said, the circumstances of life are the muffled utterances of the inner talking that made them visible. Your inner talking is literally the word made visible. Okay, so you are all that is. All is in your awareness because of you. Okay, remember that. All right, circumstances equals your inner talkings, what you're assuming. If you want to say law of assumption, law of whatever. Okay, your awareness is creating your reality. So it's the law of whatever works for you. All right. I imagine that once this inner talking has changed, circumstances must change as well. Your frequency or internal reality is the source of your ideas, the source of your downloads, the source of your inspiration, the source of whether something appears to be good or bad. You're deciding all of these things. Your perception is deciding these things. And once it's in your awareness, it's all up to you. It's all up to you to decide what it means and decide what you're experiencing. All right. You have 6,000 to 70,000 thoughts per day. Somewhere in there is your dream reality or the reality you don't desire to be in. When you're experiencing something you don't desire to experience, it is somewhere within that 6 to 70,000 thoughts that is perpetuating this experience, that is keeping it up. I made a TikTok yesterday. It was like a clip from one of the previous videos, but I was talking about the past, present, and future, and how you can go within and revise negative experiences, right? And one thing I feel like I forgot to mention was that these things, we have this idea of how these memories like work on us, but truthfully, if our awareness is controlling our reality, that means the only time those things have power is when they come up to the front of our mind and we decide this is what happened. We perpetuate the experience. We keep it as that memory when we keep deciding this happened. Oh, I remember when that happened. You know how you do that? Like, you bring it up to the front of your mind, it comes up, and instead of changing it, you decide, yes, I experienced this negative thing. It was so terrible and I was crying and blah, blah, blah. Instead, you could revise it, literally change it, and alter the way that you think on a day-to-day basis, helping you to block limits that keep you from manifesting what you want. All right, so always on the side of this is mine or that is my experience, no in between. Okay, so there is no like I know y'all have probably heard the saying, you cannot sit in two different chairs at once. You can't decide that I have this and teeter-totter, like you're either I have this right now or I don't. I'm in this reality with who I want to be with, in my desired reality, doing whatever I want to do right now, or I'm not at all. So if you feel like you aren't like where you want to be and you've been kind of having ideas about that, look, if you've been teeter-tottering, that's the reason why, okay? That's the reason why you're not seeing it in your reality. You have to go all in, okay? One thing I want to note is that these people, the greats that talk about manifestation, I'm talking about the Joseph Murphys, the Neville Goddards, these people were living in a time where there wasn't that much access to technology. We weren't scrolling all the time. We weren't always watching TV, watching YouTube, watching TikTok. Their attention spans were much better than ours are now because their entertainment was completely different. They were doing different types of activities. They were outside more. Okay, so when you think about our ability to hold our attention on something and really put all of our awareness and energy into manifesting something, that's what it's going to take. You're going to have to be the outlier that stops scrolling on TikTok, that isn't watching as much content, even content like this. At a certain point, you need to take notes of all of this stuff that people like me are saying and write it down and just actually apply it and make sure that you have times throughout your day. I'm going to make a video about this too. Times throughout your day where you remind yourself of who you are and are able to create that reality within. Spend a lot of time creating that reality within and go throughout your day knowing you are who you say you are. Okay? So take a day or two for what I like to call an internal audit. Just monitor what is going on in your mind, because if you don't know what is creating your reality within the 6,000 to 70,000 thoughts you have per day, just imagine that scrolling through TikTok and on Instagram and watching the videos of these folks going at it, and puppies falling off of tables and family members getting engaged. Like, just all of this stuff is in your mind at once, and it's like, how do I even know what is creating my experience if I'm just bombarded with all of this information and entertainment all the time? So go within for a day or two and just observe every thought that passes. I want you to write down every thought that doesn't align with your desired reality, because those thoughts come up throughout the day, and most of the time you just accept it without realizing that it passed by. All right, so write down these thoughts, and I'm telling you, once you write down the thoughts, you will remember them the second they come up and try to interrupt and be this like virus in your mind that is trying to pull you back into a reality you don't want to be in. Because what most people don't understand is that reality has to be sustained. A negative reality has to be sustained. It has to be perpetuated. If your mind, if your awareness is always creating your reality, that means something is holding it up. There's a base, there's a structure that is holding these negative things into your life. The moment you break free of that, though, is the moment you realize, this is what I've been thinking. This is how I've been reacting to this. These are the ideas, the thoughts that I've been accepting on a day-to-day basis, okay? So next thing, when you're aware of the cause, you can change the effect. I was saying this already. When you know exactly what you've been thinking, the ideas you've been accepting, you can change them, okay? You are the light, you are the truth, and you are the way. Your consciousness is, all right? If you can understand that, this is what Jesus was talking about. If you can understand that, if you can go within and understand that my consciousness has literally been creating my reality. When Jesus was going around and healing these people and saying your faith has made you whole, he was talking about your consciousness, you having the knowing that me just being here has the capability to heal you or heal this person or bring you the miracles you want, is all it takes, okay? You can do the same works as me. That's what he always said. You can do the same works as me through your consciousness. All right. So I want to briefly mention, this is the last part. I want to briefly mention this story in Neville Goddard's book. I forgot what it was called, but he has a certain book where he's just listing off like success stories that he had with people that they told him after like his lectures and stuff. So this was a woman that she went to, hold on, let me hold the mic up. She was about to sell her property, right? So she signed a document with this realty broker, and basically the realty broker said it was not binding. Little did she know it was. In California, the realty law does not play, all right? So what happened was, he began to sue her because her contract fell through. The person that was supposed to buy her house so she could move on with this broker and sell it to the broker or whatever was going on with the broker, it all fell through. Okay, I made a TikTok about this. Maybe I'll put that up here because it's easier to explain. That was much easier to explain, but basically they went to court, right? This broker was loaded. He was so rich and he had so many resources, and her back was against the wall. She was not as, you know, well off as he was. So she said, I had no witnesses, but the broker brought 3 attorneys. The broker was suing her. She said, and a number of witnesses into court against us. Our attorney now told me we had not the slightest chance to win. I turned to my imagination, and this is what I did, completely disregarding all that had been said by the attorneys, witnesses, and the judge who seemed to favor the plaintiff. I thought only of the words I wanted to hear. In my imagination, I listened intently and heard the foreman of the jury say, we find the defendant not guilty. I listened until I knew it was true. I closed my mind's ear to everything said in that courtroom and only heard those words. We find the defendant not guilty. The jury deliberated from noon recess until 4:30 that afternoon, and all during those hours I sat in the courtroom and heard those words over and over in my imagination. When the jurors returned and the judge asked the foreman to stand and give their verdict, the foreman stood up and said, we find the defendant not guilty. All right, so she, instead of falling victim to the circumstances, she leaned into it. The woman went within and decided that they said she was not guilty. She decided this. She chose her own reality in a world where she was going through this realty lawsuit and her back was against the wall. There was no way she could win this. The broker had witnesses. The broker had this contract that was legally binding. The broker had a whole legal team of attorneys. She only had her little attorney. Her attorney said she still had no chance. Like, how are you my attorney? You saying we don't have a chance? Like, that is crazy. But she went within and she decided her reality. She created that assumption for herself. She only accepted ideas and told herself that, look, this is my reality. I'm commanding reality right now, and I'm gonna say that they find me not guilty. Okay. So situations like that just show you, like, they should inspire you to see that if I just decide with every single thought that this is my reality, I will have no choice but to experience it. Okay? Remember that. Remember this story. Take that with you. All right? We have so much time in a day that we spend on focusing on things that don't matter, focusing on a reality that was created for us by other people. All right, now thank y'all so much for tuning into this video. Once again, my email is going to be linked down below. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace out.